Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Alton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington with help from John Cohn.
Well, Gary, here we are, 5 days before Christmas.
Yep.
We got a new backdrop, and we're calling it Thoughts on Our World. That's pretty broad, don't you think?
Yeah.
What topics we can come up with?
You can put pretty much anything in that.
Pretty much, that covers it all. Have you ready for Christmas?
I'm about ready. I got a lot of my shopping done today. And my gorgeous wife she's been very judicious about shopping for just about everybody else. And I'm kind of like, what do you want for Christmas? I said, I got what I want, and that's you. I said, that's about all that whatever Mariah Carey says about that. And that's about it. I mean, I guess, Billy, you're probably like I am now. I'm to the stage in my life, if I really want something, I'll just go get it.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for Christmas. I mean, it's nice. I'll tell you, it's nice to get a few little things here and there, but I don't need any more stuff, really. I got plenty of stuff. In fact, I need to get rid of a bunch of stuff, some of which is just trash, I hadn't found time to do nothing with it.
Well, my basement looks like a bomb went off to the person that is not educated about where all my stuff is. And my wife keeps telling me, you need to get rid of some stuff or I'm going to go down there and do it myself, and you ain't going to like it. So, it is what it is. But I want to welcome everybody to Intelligent Ramblings. And
we gotta get well shout out to John Cohn.
Yeah.
Y'all are praying sorts. Say a prayer for John. He's recovering from a blood clot in his lungs brought on by pneumonia.
Yeah.
I think they got a handle on the pneumonia, but they still are treating the blood clot. And we'll say a big congratulations and safe journeys, traveling mercies for our other co-host, William Howington. William's doing something pretty cool. He's flying out to Las Vegas because his son-in-law went to Utah. So his son-in-law is bringing his sons, William's grandsons, down. And William and his son, Alex, they got a place to stay in Vegas. So Zach's going to bring the two grandsons down, and they're going to stay in Las Vegas and watch the Las Vegas Bowl. William's got his son-in-law, and his grandsons with him, which I think is just way cool.
That is seriously cool.
And we'll say good luck to Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl, too.
Good luck to Utah. Well, talking about headlines, looks like Trump is off the ballot in Colorado due to his insurrection activity on January the 6th. They're waiting for the Supreme Court of Colorado ruled on it, but now they're waiting for the feds to have their say.
Yeah. Well, the Supreme Court of Colorado used that.
Alley Cat says, I hope he feels better soon. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, well, we hope so too. But the Supreme Court of Colorado used that. Hey, Kenny and Andrea, they're here. And the Supreme Court used that clause that says, if you're ever convicted or suspected or accused or something of insurrection, then you can't run for federal office. Well, I think they went ahead maybe and presumed the guilt before everybody got their say-so in this. Maybe they're just making a preemptive strike. Of course, his lawyers are appealing that, Bill, as you know. And he may wind up back on the ballot.
He'll probably end up back on the ballot. I was thinking about tonight, and I don't know if anybody knows, but whatever, I'm an independent, which means I don't like any of them. And I think I'm going to throw my weight or whatever I got, which ain't very much, you can tell. There ain't much to me, towards Nikki Haley, the Republican candidate from South Carolina. I think that she will do a wonderful job. I think that Nikki has got international experience. She's got White House experience. She's got governor experience. And I don't think she's going to try to take over the country. If she wins this one and loses the next one, I don't think she'd do anything but the right thing. I think she's honorable.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of points I disagree with her on, but I think she's certainly the lesser of the evils if you're comparing her and Trump. Problem is, she's not saying much, still not saying much against Trump. The only guy that's really speaking out, because he probably realizes he doesn't have a prayer, is Chris Christie. And I mean, he takes on Trump at every provocation. Kenny Post says there's a lot of middle ground between Trump and Biden. Well, boy, ain't that the truth?
No doubt about that.
That's kind of opposite ends of the spectrum right there. Yeah, I've said many times. I've said,
hey, sweetheart, I love you.
Bill's daughter, Allie. Nobody speaks for me. Nobody speaks for the middle guy. Nobody speaks for the guy who can see some sides of this and realize that Trump actually did a few good things while he was in office. But what he did was overtaken by what happened in January. And he couldn't shut up.
He didn't know when to stop.
He didn't know when to stop.
He didn't know how to, okay, I lost. Let's regroup and run again in 4 years, and when we'll kick their butt then. But he didn't leave it honorably. Is one of my main problems with him, other than the other 40 problems I got with him. One of my main ones is he didn't leave it honorably. Nobody in the history of our country has acted like that at the end of his term. Nobody. And I mean, that just kind of gives you an idea. Trump thinks about Trump. That's all he thinks about.
Oh.
And if you're going to vote for a Republican, let's go with Nikki Haley. I'm on board.
We'll see how it all shakes out. I'll be interested to see who else comes forward.
Well, speaking of international, the Houthi are still attacking ships in the Red Sea, the southern Red Sea. And it seems like they're attacking not only our vessels, but pretty much any vessel that comes through there right now. And there's going to be a international naval task force that they're putting together right now. And I don't understand the Houthi. I understand the Houthi, what they're after. They're saying is for people that back Israel, and this is their way of standing behind Palestine and supporting them. But I don't understand how we let somebody like these people mess with our ships to the point where it makes our gas costs go up. Because they've already stopped some of the ships going through there that are toting all that oil out of there. And to me, why don't we send a destroyer and put him out there, and every time you see a Houthi, you shoot him. Blow him out of the water. Poof. Next one comes out, put another one out there. And wherever they got those missiles coming from, drop a couple on top of them. This is bullshit. We need to do something with this.
Well, the problem is, we weren't attacked first. We didn't ask for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with defending yourself or defending your rights.
Not at all.
You got to. Otherwise, I mean, just think about it. I mean, I'm pretty much a pacifist until you put your hands on me. Then all bets are off, right? They put their hands on us. Well, what are you going to do? You can't sit there and be run over. What if the United States is just, we'll just forget about Pearl Harbor and the Holocaust and all that. We'll just roll right over. We'd all be speaking German right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love the peacemakers, but every now and then you got to pat the back on the warriors on the back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those people don't understand anything but violence year round. That's how they think.
And that's a shame. If we just all quit that, we get along. I tell you what, you quit all that, we'll come over there and build you a few hotels and motels and put in some 7-Elevens, and everybody will be making money. How about that?
Yeah. Andrea says, I'm a registered Democrat and a Christie fan, but I will vote for Haley in the primary. Trump is a man of low moral character at best. Absolutely. Like I said, I'm an independent, and that's that means I don't like any of them. So, and Alley Cat is saying DeSantis. DeSantis is a little bit too much on the right for me. He's just a little bit too much.
Well, he's another one that still hasn't said anything much about Trump.
No.
See, some of these people, you understand, may be jockeying for a vice presidential nomination.
Andrea's saying we don't want to be embroiled in the conflict as if we're not already. And I think you're talking about the conflict in the Red Sea. Well, we got to get in there and straighten this mess out because something's got to stop. I mean, you can't just let some rogue outfit go after our ships and ships from other countries. I think this is going to stop pretty quick. They're talking about a international naval task force. That means 4 or 5 nations have already decided they're going to end this stuff, and that's what's going to happen.
That's key. You know, you've got to have a coalition. It can't be the United States being policeman for the world. We don't need to do that. I don't want us to do that. We need to have an international, as I said, a coalition of people that all think the same thing, that these people need to stop this and stop it right now.
Yeah. Well, somebody actually agrees with you, Gary.
Well, I'm not the first one that has said that. There's other people that are thinking that way too, and that's why they don't want to say anything much about it. Because if they can't be the top man this time, they'll be the vice president this time, and they think they'll be the president the next time around.
Yeah.
Provided Trump decides he doesn't want to serve a 3rd term if he gets elected. Now that's a big if.
And if he wants to serve if you want, do you say 3rd term with parentheses?
Yeah. Well, you know,
because there is no such thing as a 3rd term.
Well, not since Franklin Roosevelt.
Well,
you know, I think that's not out of the realm of suggestion with Trump. Of course, we've never seen anybody act like that before, too. You're right, after he lost. No, the president can serve for 10 years by the Constitution. They can serve part of for 1 term and run for 2 on his own. But after that, by constitutional law, he is prohibited. So, take that for what it's worth.
We'll see if that happens. Well, guess what's going to happen 1st of January? Maybe not on the 1st, but the first week in January. They're going to reveal Epstein's associates. They're unsealing the documents that's been private. I wonder whose name's on that list. I wonder who's shaking in their boots right now, because you really don't want to be... You don't want to be on that list.
No, you won't be associated with him, that's for sure.
No, not at all. That's the guy was basically a trafficker, and he seduced these women into thinking they're going to get this great job, and they bring them out there and they won't let them go. I mean, he would have been, if he hadn't killed himself in prison, he'd probably be in jail forever and a half, where he should be for being treating those people like that. I mean, he basically was a kidnapper.
Yep, and almost slavery.
Yeah, it was absolutely slavery. Well, did you know that yesterday 12,600 immigrants crossed into Texas? And of that 12,600, 11,000 were at illegal points of entry. In other words, they didn't come in the right way you're supposed to when you immigrate the country. They're just coming in wherever they want to. This is out of control.
And it's been out of control for several administrations, Democrats and Republicans. People just kept kicking the can down the road. So we'll let the next people worry about it. Well, guess what? Time has come now to do something about this. And somebody needs to have the balls to come up with a workable solution that's going to help. Right now, we can't get rid of illegal aliens because they're a vast part of the economy now because they're doing jobs that nobody else is going to do.
Right.
And how you going to round these people up? That's ridiculous. You'd have to have all 4 branches of the military working 24 hours a day to try to find everybody in this country that's illegal now. We're going to have to find a way to make it attractive to them to get within the system. If it's some sort of provisional amnesty or something like, that's been done before too. We're going to have to find a way to get them into the system, get them paying taxes, paying Social Security, so that everything that they talk about going broke is not going broke anymore. And
they need to simplify.
Yes, exactly. Simplify, and also we also need to be taking a toll or a tax or a surcharge on every dollar that comes out of this country.
It takes years to get citizenship in this country, and they need to simplify it somehow to do something about it.
Well, and I think you can do that. You also can make it a proviso that they have to have a command of the language and things like that, in order to have the rights of every citizen. And you can say, okay, you can stay and work here on this kind of a visa, but in order to have full voting rights, you need to do this and become a citizen. Otherwise, okay, you can be a second class, for lack of a better term. Nobody likes that, but unless you do the things that become a citizen, you can still work here. Guess what? We're going to tax your income. If you send any money out of the country, we're going to tax that. And but you can't vote. Other civilizations have done that and worked with it. But to say that we're going to give everybody full rights just because they live here is ridiculous.
Well, Andrea said that they would probably be willing to pay taxes if they were legal. That's one of the major problems, is the fact that these people come into this country and make money. Most of it's usually cash, and they send it back to their country, to their siblings and mom and dad and stuff like that to help them.
That's what I'm saying. You got it.
But that's money being spent here, but we're not getting any of the benefits of it. So you're absolutely right. If they pay taxes, if they were legal. So we need to make them legal, make them part of this country, because we're the melting pot. We're the melting pot of the world. We've always been that way. We got room for them. We just need them to be legal. We just need it to be right.
Well, like I said, I don't think they need to be legal unless they go through some sort of a process. We could still tax their income, but to become a full voting citizen, you need to go through some sort of process to become legal.
Yeah.
But we can't just keep leaving them at the border or shipping them to other cities. That just spreads the problem around. And we need to address this and quit, as I said, letting it lie there for some future generation to have to pick up and clean up our mess.
Yeah. Well, Gary, it's time for a new portion of our show that we developed, and we're going to start it right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We're in the situation now where you got to listen to me for a couple of minutes, as Billy is allowing me to do a commentary every week here on Intelligent Ramblings. And my topic for tonight, and maybe one of the reasons I'm dressed like this, is like Bill's already said, it's Christmas in 5 days. And I heard this song several times. In fact, I heard it again tonight. And you probably heard it too. It came from the movie called Meet Me in St. Louis, and Judy Garland sang it. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Now, how many times have you heard people say that? Or how many times have you said it? And how many times have you responded or seen other people respond with a shrug or nod or an indifferent mumble? Yeah, whatever. Has the magic gone out of Christmas in 2023? Is the world too sophisticated, too modern, too succeed by God to pay attention to Christmas anymore? What with all the bustle and the bother and the bionic bugaboos, it just seems that Christmas is too much trouble, takes up too much time, right? Is that it? Or could it be, my friend, that perhaps, just maybe, the magic has not gone out of Christmas, it's gone out of you? But we do have to admit that Christmas faces a lot of competition nowadays. The time is approaching, if it's not here already. You won't be able to hear the jingle of the jingle bells above the jingle of the cash registers and the pop and whistle of the latest electronic doodad we just gotta have. What's even sadder, someday you may not be able to tell the difference. Let's reminisce a moment, okay? What are the best times that you can remember when you were around Christmas time of year? Maybe when you were younger, when you were smaller, and was it because you knew Santa was coming on Christmas Eve, and did Christmas lose its wonder for you the closer you got to it and the older you got, because one night you found out Santa Claus looked a lot like Daddy? Somehow I don't think so. Maybe Christmas had all of its magic for you because you were with your family, because you liked giving your mama those earrings, giving your daddy that tie, even though they had a million other ones just like them. They always said how pretty those were, and they meant it. You were with those you loved and those who loved you. Can it be that we've made Christmas more complicated than it is? Have we believed it to be crass and commercial for so long that it has finally become so? Somewhere around 2,000 years ago, a chorus of angels split the skies with a simple truth about love and peace and deliverance, and the echoes of that song have not faded. Let me repeat that message. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. Peace on earth, goodwill to all people of good faith, whatever that faith may be. It's no more complicated than that, but it is as eternal as the heavens themselves. So in this season of season and all that night of nights, find somebody you love. Kiss them gently, shake their hand. Hug them at least once for me. And absolutely refuse to let the clamor and the bustle and all of the vitriolic anger that we seem to have in 2023, refuse to let all of that bother you. Oh yeah. Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. That's my time. Thanks for yours. I'm Gary Glenn.
This webcast is brought to you by William Lofton Photography. They can be found at williamlofton.com. Offering event residential portraiture at williamlofton.com. Bowl season, week 16. Bowl season. That's very understated. This is what bowls we got. That's bowls.
Yeah.
You remember when it was the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Blue Bonnet Bowl, the Orange Bowl? There's about 8 or 9 or 10 bowls.
Yeah.
That was when we were growing up, and that was it.
And it was a big deal to get invited to a bowl game.
Yeah, that was a big deal because your team got to travel to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl, go to the Rose Bowl parade. You got to be shown around and they take you places, and I mean they still do that, I'm sure, but it's not like it used to be by any means.
Well, and you had to have a good record to get into a bowl game. Now they're taking people that are 6-6.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. There's a bunch of bowls. Like I said, about a page and a half of tiny print full of bowls. And some of them I've never heard of, and I've barely heard of the teams that are playing in them.
There's a couple of them I couldn't even find on I've got an app for college football, and they weren't even on my app. Before we get to the bowl predictions, let's talk a little bit about the ongoing signing period. Looks like the University of Georgia. You see my that's Santa Dog right there. That's Santa Dog. University of Georgia topped out in the signing day today. The number one team in the nation again, but this time it's because they're #1 signing team in the nation. Or signed the best class, according to what they say. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that 4, 5, and 3-star thing because if you remember, I think it was Jalen Walker. No, was it Jordan? Big tackle for Georgia, who's playing for the Philadelphia Eagles now, was a 3-star.
Yeah,
I think it's got more to do with the development than it does to the stars.
Well,
But,
it does, and you've seen it. You've seen it happen. Somebody's not a really great high school football player, but all of a sudden they blossom at the next level, and they turn into the stud in college. And the same thing, you've seen people like Tom Brady gets picked way down in the draft, and he's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. It's about development. It's about attitude. It's about all of those things. And just because somebody's like, oh, it's a can't miss. Well, we've seen a lot of those that missed, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, speaking of what I missed, Georgia missed Dylan Raiola. And I'm here to say that I'm pleased that he's going to Nebraska. I had my doubts about this kid. He played in 4 different high schools, and he committed to Ohio State, and then he decommitted and committed to Georgia, and then he decommitted and he's going to Nebraska. Now, I understand why he's going to Nebraska, but with family and that's all involved and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I think he's got skills. He's got talent. I've seen some film of him, But to say he's the savior is silly because he certainly didn't bring Buford a state championship, did he?
He did not. And they had K.J. Bolden on their defense. So they had a 5-star on offense and a 5-star on defense, and they still didn't win the state championship.
I think it's best for all concerned. And I tell you exactly the reason he decommitted to Georgia, because Carson Beck decided to stay.
Yeah.
And he thought he'd be at best a backup. And this kid doesn't want to be a backup. This kid wants to be the star. He wants to play as a freshman.
As a freshman.
It wasn't. Well, I guess it's been quite a few years ago now. That freshmen didn't even play. They had freshman teams that played one another, but you did not play on the varsity as a freshman. I think that started, in the 70s maybe? Of course, now I guess that's 50 years ago, if you're talking about 72, 73. But for a long time, freshmen didn't even play. And now they not only want to play, they want to start. Let me tell you what, there's a whole bunch of difference in an 18-year-old kid and a 23 or 24-year-old man. Well, Kenny says it's all about money. Hey, I tell my kids all the time that I teach and coach, I say, when somebody tells you it's not about the money, reach for your wallet, because 9 times out of 10, it's about the money.
It's absolutely about the money, Kenny. I agree with you 100%. The NIL and this damn portal has changed the way college football is made up. It's no longer, you can count on these kids, it used to be 4 years. And now you count on them maybe 2. Maybe
2, and they don't want to play in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Although we've got 100 bowl games.
Yeah, look at them. They're opting out. It's even got its own phrase, opting out. You opting out on your team, really? To me, that's just betrayal. That's saying I'm more important than the team.
Sure.
I don't give a damn what your reason is. If you opt out, it's you. Me.
Well, I tell you what, if you opt out, you ought to be required to reimburse the school for part of your tuition.
I absolutely agree with it.
You did not fulfill the terms of your agreement. I'll be paying it back.
Gary?
Prorated.
Let's cut this in half and go down to the Utah. I think that'd be a good game to start on, to talk about, because I'm not going to talk about the rest of them because I don't know about half of them. And we'll do some predicting.
I think let's go. We can pick and choose a few of them. I think people you've heard of. I think UCF is probably going to beat Georgia Tech in something called the Gasparilla Bowl. Not just the Gasparilla, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. They're playing UCF, and I think UCF will take them. I think Duke will probably take Troy. These are all games. I think on the that one's on the Georgia Tech's playing by itself on the 22nd. On the 23rd, you got a bunch of them. I think Duke will beat Troy.
I picked Troy.
State, you're gonna pick Troy, all right? That's
yeah. I've still got feelings for Troy because I worked there.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason. There's something called the Camilo Bowl. Arkansas State, NIU. Arkansas State, just because I think it sounds better. I think James Madison may have it over the Air Force in that same day. All of these, one of them's these are ESPN and ABC games. Georgia State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and Utah State. I'm gonna pick Georgia State just because they're the hometown team from our state.
I picked Utah State.
South Alabama over Eastern Michigan in the Ventures Bowl. Now this is the one that William and his family is going to be at. The Utah and Northwestern in the Las Vegas Bowl. Man, when's the last time you heard somebody say Northwestern in the bowl game?
And Utah's going to beat the doors off of them.
I think they probably will. And Coastal Carolina that gave one of the Power 5 teams, was it UCLA or USC one?
UCLA.
Run for the UCLA, yeah. I'm gonna pick Coastal Carolina in the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. Now, that's
I did the same.
They're the one. That's the one they play. They used to play that game on Christmas Eve every year, but they're playing it on the 23rd now. How far do we want to go down to this thing?
Let's go. Okay, I picked Texas. I'll take over for a minute. I picked Texas State versus Rice. Their quarterback's hurt. Rice's is. I picked Kansas over UNLV. I don't think it's going to be close. I picked Tulane over Virginia Tech in the Military Bowl. In the Duke's Mayo Bowl, I picked North Carolina over West Virginia. The Holiday Bowl, I picked Louisville over USC.
I'm going to go USC that one, but we disagree there.
Well, you know, their quarterback opted out. The Texas Bowl, I picked Oklahoma State over Texas A&M, who I think are fixing to fall into a deep ravine.
I'll disagree there too.
Texas A&M is going to go 2-9 next year. The Fenway Bowl, I picked SMU. Bad Boys Warriors, I picked Miami, Florida. Pop-Tart, I picked North Carolina State. Alamo Bowl, I picked Oklahoma.
Now we're getting down to bowl games that you've heard of. The Gator Bowl, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. I'm picking Clemson over Kentucky.
Yep, me too.
How about this is cool? Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. You know
that's ridiculous.
The guy that voiced Tony the Tiger was the guy who sang "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." Guy by the name of Thurl Ravenscroft. Yeah, that's it. You learn things by listening to Intelligent Rambling. That's why we call it Intelligent Ramblings. Yeah, Thurl Ravenscroft. And you're there, great. Well, think of that and think you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Same guy.
Liberty Bowl.
I'm picking Notre Dame in the Tony the Tiger Bowl. Liberty Bowl, Iowa State over Memphis. That's my pick. Cotton Bowl, I'm gonna pick Missouri because I think they're pretty good, and I think that Iowa State may have run their deal.
I agree with both of those.
I'm picking Ole Miss over Penn State in the Peach Bowl. I'm not picking against the SEC for the most part.
I do not at all. No, I think I picked one.
I think
Clemson, Kentucky. I picked Clemson.
I picked Clemson in that one as well. I'm gonna have to pick Auburn over Maryland, though. I'll tell you, in the Music City Bowl.
I hate Auburn, but I'm still gonna pick them.
Yeah, and of course I'm going with Georgia over Florida State. Now we're getting to the big bowls here. Wyoming, I'm gonna pick Wyoming over Toledo. Although I'm not really sure there is a Wyoming. I think that may be something somebody made up. I did a kid on the radio, Billy, the other night. We did the FCA All-Star game, and one of the kickers said he was going to go to Montana and maybe walk on. He may be done with football, but he might walk on at Montana. I said, Montana? Is there really a Montana? I don't know if anybody's ever been to Montana or comes from Montana. I think that kid's been watching too much Yellowstone.
Must have been.
Let's see what we got. The Barstool Bowl. We're going with LSU over. I'm going with LSU over Wisconsin. That's a January 1 bowl. Citrus Bowl, I'm picking Tennessee over Iowa. Fiesta Bowl, I'm picking Oregon over Liberty. And I think you and I will disagree on that one. We're getting to the playoffs now. I'm going to pick Alabama over Michigan. I think Alabama is peaking. I think they really started putting it together, and I think they're going to win that one. They may win it all. And I'm picking Texas over Washington. There we go.
I'm picking Texas over Washington, but I'm sticking with Michigan, who I have rated the number 2 team in the country at the beginning of the season, and that's all there is to that.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of bowl games being played, that's for sure.
It's a bunch of bowl games, and I want to take this time right now. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm looking up here, and Kenny Poe's comment is still on my screen, says it's all about money. That's why we got 100 bowls, Kenny. Oh, it's about the money.
All about the money.
And they're getting paid, and they're getting advertising dollars. Everybody's on television now. Do you remember, Billy? You're old enough to remember when it was a big deal when you got on television. You might get on television once or twice, maybe if you're really lucky, 3 times the whole season, and the rest of the time you depended on radio. We listened to Larry Munson.
I used to listen to Munson on when I was working in the kitchen. I'd have me a radio stashed back in the back somewhere where I could hear the ball game.
Well, and then when they started putting everything on television, we'd always turn down the sound and turn Munson up. But, but it was a big deal to get on television. Now everybody's on television, just about all the time, because
you can
the
watch
money is there.
I haven't missed a ball game, Georgia game, in a couple of years because I'm able to watch it. I can be riding down I-85 watching the Georgia game. That's crazy. It's time for the Jetsons. Jetsons time are upon us.
Yep. Well, we just need our flying cars now. We'll be good shape. All righty.
Kenny is saying we used to have time to watch every bowl game. Yeah.
Oh,
you didn't miss any game.
You what.
The Liberty Bowl, the ones I'm still thinking about, the Tangerine Bowl. And it wasn't the Tangerine, Tony the Tiger, Camel,
no.
What Verizon Bowl, just the Rose Bowl, just the Tangerine Bowl, just the Orange Bowl, just the Citrus Bowl, just the Sugar Bowl. And now it's blah, 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 blah. I remember when they did that the first time, I was like, that will never, that changed it once again. It's all about the money. Kenny's absolutely correct.
Yep.
Well, I want to take this time to wish everybody out there a very, very Merry Christmas. Have a very safe Christmas. And think about there's people out there that Christmas season's not a happy season. Think about those people when you're walking down the street and somebody doesn't seem like they're in a good mood and whatnot, and you say hello and they go, whatever, just nod at them and keep walking, and just keep wishing people a Merry Christmas, and hopefully their day will be better.
I realize that. I realize there's some people that associate and they get the blues at Christmas, and I feel sorry for those people. I'll say a prayer for them. But you know what? If you enjoy Christmas, I want to give you permission to do that too. Enjoy it. Enjoy the music. Enjoy the fellowship. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the getting the presents and giving presents. I think I like to give them now more than I like getting them. But
I absolutely agree with that.
I give you permission. Watch White Christmas a time or two with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, and Rosemary Clooney and Barry Allen, and Dean Jackson. Still one of my favorite Christmas movies all time.
The Miracle on 34th Street is my favorite. I absolutely love that.
Do you like the original or do you like the remake?
I like the original.
The black and white version.
Yes, that one and the one with Jimmy Stewart.
Drummer Store. Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. That one almost brings me to tears when I watch it. It just it makes me feel so good.
And
Lots of those old shows.
Never got a lot of praise at first. Then people began to realize what a classic that movie really was.
Absolute classic, and I watch it every year. I make sure. Folks, we'll see you
a
couple days after Christmas, and thank you for being here. I hope you like the nuances about the show, and we'll be adding more stuff as we go. And everybody that came and visited, Allie, Kenny, Andrea, thank you for being here, and thank you for talking with us.
Yep. Spread the
word.
Hope
you guys have a safe and Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Good night.
Good night.